Well, another somber story that's touched the hearts and minds of locals and internationals alike. Funeral service for Bafana Mamelodi Sundowns star player Jayden Adams that will be held today in Stellenbosch. Now, Adams died unexpectedly on the 11th of July at the age of 25. Came just weeks after representing South Africa at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now, his death sent shockwaves across the country. Let's cross to our anchor Oliver Dickson, who's standing by. Oliver, I dare say good morning at this point, trying to really put, Jayden to rest today with family and friends alike coming out to pay their last respects. His journey began in Cape Town long before he joined Stellenbosch FC Academy, and perhaps also just the impact that he would have had at such a tender age. Talk to us about his life and legacy as we bid a final adieu.
Liesl, thank you so much. I can tell you this, Stellenbosch is a town in mourning. I drove into the town yesterday in preparation for this broadcast, and I stopped at the local shopping mall, the Stellenbosch Shopping Square. And one of the security officers recognized me there, and he asked me if I was in town for the funeral of Jayden Adams, and I said yes. And he began to pour out his heart about how devastating the loss of Jayden Adams was to him. Yesterday, while broadcasting with my SABC colleagues at the Kutse Sports facility in Stellenbosch, we bumped into several people who also are mourning Jayden Adams. Some are relatives of him, some are former colleagues of him, and they all speak of him as a young man that has had great potential within him, not only for what he did for the community here in terms of what he represented, but also really what he stood for in his personal life. He was filled with compassion. He was a very polite and reserved young man, and that's what the community here remember about him. I do want to tell you, the funeral will be kicking off this morning. We expect to hear from Minister Gayton McKenzie at the funeral. We also expect to hear from President Denny Jordan, the SAFA president, as well as the KEF president, Dr. Patrice Motsepe. Now, Jayden Adams, as you mentioned, Liesl, passed away on the 11th of July, unexpectedly. He had also played in 3 of those 4 matches Bafana had at the World Cup. In fact, in 2 of those he started, and in 1 he came off of the bench. That South Korea game where South Africa won 1-0 that sent them into the knockout stages, Jayden played a pivotal role in the midfield of that game, playing a very important distribution role alongside Mufokeng, rather. And we know that in that bench, Tebogo Maseko was not in that game because he was out on a yellow card from the previous 2 games. And so one could really see Jayden rise to the occasion, and his potential really shined through. And that's what his academy mates and his academy colleagues remember about him. He moved over from the academy into Stellenbosch FC around 2020, but he was snatched by Mamelodi Sundowns in 2025, and of course he had an illustrious career at Mamelodi Sundowns in the 2 years that he was there, being able to go on to win a CAF championship with Mamelodi Sundowns just weeks before the World Cup campaign began. We're going to be reflecting on exactly these moments, on the sort of things that made Jayden such an impactful player on and off the field. We are currently in Stellenbosch, and we'll be making our way to the sports facility which is also the stadium, by the way, where Jayden Adams' career was formed, and from there we'll be engaging in the funeral proceedings live here on SABC News. Liesl, back to you.
All right, thanks, Oliver. It's hard to believe that just a few weeks ago represented us on the international stage, but let's monitor how family, friends alike come to bid their final adieu.